There are people that want to transform America and the globe into something that it is not. They are going to, as I said, push the problems that we have as a country and push them up into the globe. It will not work. The best thing we can do is link arms together, neighbor to neighbor. Reach out to our houses of worship and our community centers and take care of each other, as I believe God intended us to, and I know the founders intended us to do. The sooner more people wise up, the better chance we have to stop it in its tracks, or at least survive with the least amount of damage. A growing number of people are, unfortunately, however, latching onto these globalist ideas. Yes, because I tell you something, it doesn't work on a national scale. Let's kick it up to the globe, because that'll be so much better, won't it? No. Nothing really new, but it's picking up steam and it's building momentum in certain circles. The worst part is, you may not even be aware of it, but groundwork is being laid. One of the main reasons for these same old tired ideas being revitalized is because those pushing globalism and government control on a global level have mastered the art of hiding it in plain sight and then just dismissing it as a joke. Their great example would be this: the United Nations Earth Summit, Agenda 21. Yeah, that kind of sounds like Fahrenheit 451. I don't think that ended well. Agenda 21. They refer to it as sustainable development. Yeah, you might change your mind when you hear a little bit of the background of sustainable development. Here's how Agenda 21 is defined by the United Nations. A comprehensive plan of action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major groups in every area in which humans impact the environment. Wow, that's kind of broad. Now, it has been adopted by more than 178 governments. I believe there's only 191 on the planet. The United Nations had their big conference on the environment and development in Rio back in 1992, and that's when everybody jumped on board. Social and economic dimensions, which talks about the redistribution of wealth, changing consumption patterns, promoting health, I love this one, change population, and sustainable settlement. That's good. Then a little later, when it talks about the redistribution of wealth, which we all love, quote, developed countries and funding agencies should provide specific assistance to developing countries in adopting an enabling approach to the provision of shelter for all. So that's like guaranteed housing. Well, that's going to be great because the government's going to own all of our houses anyway because we're all going broke because of the Reading through the pages, it becomes clear sustainable development is just a really nice way of saying centralized control over all of human life on planet Earth. That doesn't sound bad. It starts to make more sense when you see who's responsible for all of this. This is a massive movement, and its real intentions are being masked with environmental issues. The bad news is this structure was set up by those who want to establish a global government system. They've set this structure up years ago. This is why I keep saying to you, you don't have any idea how far behind we really are. But here's the good news. God is not uninvolved in man's freedom. We haven't been looking in his way for a very, very long time. We've screwed our country up. We've screwed up our lives, etc., etc. But he's not uninvolved in man's freedom because man's freedom is going to be used for his purposes. I have no idea. I don't think it's building bigger houses or casinos, but I don't know what it is. But we have to be free. Man has to be free. The only reason we found out about this is because there are citizens paying attention to what is going on in their own local communities. We have been paying attention to Washington. We must stand guard on our own communities. Some people now have begun questioning and standing up to what on the surface seems like a harmless initiative just to save the environment. but it is not. Be awake. Spread the word. Watch your local community. The answer will be found with the individual. The answers and the solutions will be found in the local communities. But once they put their fangs into our communities, they'll suck all the blood out of it, and we will not be able to survive. Watch out. I told you before, and boy was I hammered for this. I know now why. When I first warned you about a year and a half ago, watch the words social justice. Social justice. A lot of people interpret that in, it's what God wants me to do. Yes. But God wants you to render to Caesar that which is Caesar's. Jesus never said, take the coat off of your back and then give it to the government and have him divide it up and give it to other people. No, that's for us to do. Look for the buzzwords social justice and look for the buzzwords sustainable development. Some people involved may actually have a pure heart and believe in it the way you do. Most do not. Those who want more government controls are never going to come out and say it. They've got to trick you into it. But the more you follow the usual suspects, the more you'll recognize their hallmarks, and the more you can ring the bell and protect your own community. Back in a minute.